When life gets hard, most people start looking for a way to escape. They want the problem to disappear. They want the pressure to stop. They want the world to become fair, predictable, and easy again. But Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, had a different answer. He did not believe calm came from a perfect life. He believed calm came from a trained mind. Marcus ruled during war, plague, betrayal, political tension, and personal loss. He had power, but he did not have peace handed to him. He had to build it, day after day, inside himself. That is what makes his wisdom so useful today. Because your life may not look like ancient Rome, but the pressure is familiar. Deadlines, money problems, family stress, uncertain plans, people who disappoint you, news that makes the future feel unstable, moments when your own mind becomes louder than the world around you. Marcus would say, do not ask for life to become easier before you become steady. Become steady first. And the first lesson is simple. Separate what is yours from what is not yours. Most anxiety comes from trying to control things that were never fully in our control. You cannot control what other people think. You cannot control the past. You cannot control the weather, the economy, the opinions of strangers, or the exact timing of every result. But you can control your judgment. You can control your next action. You can control whether you speak with anger or with discipline. You can control whether you waste a day replaying yesterday. This is not weakness. It is focus. When you stop wasting energy on what is outside your command, you gain energy for what is directly in front of you. So when life gets hard, ask one question. What part of this belongs to me? If the answer is your effort, give effort. If the answer is your honesty, be honest. If the answer is your patience, practice patience. If the answer is nothing, release the illusion that worry is useful. Worry feels like action, but most of the time it is only imagination with fear attached to it. The second lesson from Marcus Aurelius is to pause before you react. A calm person is not someone who never feels anger, fear, or sadness. A calm person is someone who does not immediately obey every emotion. There is a space between what happens and what you do next. That space is where character is built. Someone insults you. A plan fails. A message arrives. A problem appears at the worst possible time. The first reaction may be automatic. Your body tightens. Your mind creates a story. You want to defend yourself, blame someone, or run away. Marcus would not deny this first reaction. He would simply refuse to let it become the final decision. He trained himself to look at events clearly, without adding unnecessary drama. An insult is sound. A delay is time. A failure is information. A difficult person is a difficult person, not the end of your life. The mind makes events heavier by adding a second wound. The first wound is what happened. The second wound is the story you repeat about what happened. That second wound is often the one that hurts longer. So practice this. When something upsets you, do not immediately answer. Do not immediately post. Do not immediately decide. Take one breath and name the event in plain language. Not, everything is ruined. Say, this plan changed. Not, they always disrespect me. Say, they said something I did not like. Not, I cannot handle this. Say, this is difficult, and I need to choose my next step. Plain language brings the mind back to reality, and reality is almost always more manageable than the story. The third lesson is that your mind can become a fortress. Marcus Aurelius wrote to himself because he understood something important. If you do not guide your own mind, the world will guide it for you. Every day, your attention is pulled in 100 directions. Notifications, opinions, arguments, comparisons, other people's success, other people's criticism. If your peace depends on all of that becoming quiet, your peace will always be fragile. But if your peace depends on your own principles, then you can carry it anywhere. This does not mean ignoring the world. It means not surrendering your inner state to every event. Imagine your mind as a room. Not everyone deserves a key. Not every comment deserves a share. Not every fear deserves to live there. A disciplined mind decides what enters, what stays, and what must leave. Marcus would remind himself that other people can act badly, but they cannot force him to become bad in return. This is one of the strongest ideas in Stoicism. Another person's behavior is their character. Your response is yours. If someone is rude and you become cruel, they have not only disturbed your day, they have recruited you into their weakness. If someone is unfair and you become dishonest, you have allowed their failure to become your failure. Strength is not revenge. Strength is remaining yourself when the world gives you an excuse not to. So protect the fortress. Begin your day by deciding who you want to be before the world tries to decide for you. Calm, honest, patient, useful, brave. Write it down if you need to. Then, when the pressure comes, you are not improvising your character from panic. You are returning to a decision you already made. The fourth lesson is to turn obstacles into training. Marcus did not believe difficulty was automatically good. Pain is pain. Loss is loss. Hardship is hard. But he believed that the human mind has the power to use difficulty as material. A delay trains patience. An insult trains self-control. Uncertainty trains courage. Failure trains humility. Responsibility trains strength. This is not fake positivity. It is practical survival. If you cannot avoid the obstacle, then at least refuse to waste it. There is a quiet power in saying, "This is not what I wanted, but I can still use it." A person who thinks this way becomes difficult to defeat, not because nothing hurts them, but because even pain becomes part of their education. Look back at your life. Some of the moments that made you stronger were not the moments you would have chosen. They were the moments that forced you to grow. At the time, they felt unfair. Later, they became proof. Proof that you could continue. Proof that you could adapt. Proof that you were not as weak as fear told you. This is how Marcus would want you to meet the next obstacle. Not with denial, not with drama, but with the question, what can this teach me? If the answer is patience, learn patience. If the answer is discipline, learn discipline. If the answer is courage, learn courage. And if the lesson is painful, learn it slowly. You do not have to become strong in one day. You only have to refuse to become bitter. The fifth lesson is to live one action at a time. When life becomes overwhelming, the mind tries to carry the whole future at once. It imagines every possible failure, every possible problem, every possible disappointment. No one is strong enough to carry an entire imagined future, but almost anyone can take the next right action. This is why Marcus focused so much on duty. Not duty as a heavy word, duty as a compass. What is the next useful thing? Wash the cup, answer the message, tell the truth, apologize, finish the task, take the walk, make the call, rest if rest is required. Calm often returns when life becomes specific. Fear is vague, action is specific. If you feel lost, make the next step small enough that you can actually do it. You do not need to solve your whole life tonight. You need to do the next honest thing, and then the next, and then the next. That is how a life is rebuilt. Marcus Aurelius was an emperor, but his private writings are not filled with arrogance. They are filled with reminders. He had to remind himself to be patient, to be humble, to keep going, to not waste time, to not let fear control him. That should encourage you. Even Marcus had to practice. Calm is not a personality type. Calm is training. So if life is hard right now, do not measure yourself by whether you feel peaceful immediately. Measure yourself by whether you return to your principles. Return to what you control. Return to the pause before reaction. Return to the fortress of your mind. Return to the lesson inside the obstacle. Return to the next right action. This is how you stay calm when life gets hard. Not by escaping reality, but by becoming the kind of person who can meet reality with discipline. And maybe that is the real meaning of strength. Not loud confidence. Not perfect circumstances. Not never feeling fear. Strength is when the world becomes uncertain, and you still know how to govern yourself. If this lesson helped you, subscribe to Grit and Glory Daily for more timeless wisdom from history's greatest thinkers. One practical lesson every day. Before you leave, choose one idea from this video and use it today. Maybe it is the pause before reaction. Maybe it is the reminder to control only what belongs to you. Maybe it is the decision to turn one obstacle into training instead of bitterness. Do not try to become perfectly calm all at once. Begin with one moment, one breath, one better response. That is how discipline becomes identity. And that is how the philosophy of Marcus Aurelius moves from a page in history into the way you live now. Subscribe for more practical wisdom from great thinkers, and keep moving with grit and glory.